So, on no further ado, what up everyone, and welcome back to another video. My name is Felicia and this is my YouTube channel. So I haven't really done a video in a while where I sit down and talk about something au pair related. So I thought it was time. I saw this idea from Cultural Care, which is the agency I'm with, and one of them was 5 tips for the matching process, and I thought, well, that's helpful. So I wrote down 5 tips that could be very helpful if you are kind of lost, you don't really know what's going on, it's all new, and you might need some help. So I was hoping that I could maybe get some help. I wish I had thought of this before when I was in the matching process too. So I hope that it will help someone out there who's in the matching process and yeah, or getting ready to go into the matching process. So let's get started. Number 1 is to make a list for yourself. What is it that I am looking for in a host family? What is it that I would like that the host family have that would make me happy to be living with them for a year? Just remember, you cannot get everything by the dot, because we're all different people and you're gonna have to be flexible. It's very important, but just to help guide you, you can make a list and it will be like your little guide to what is it that I'm looking for, and you get it down on paper and not just scramble around in your head and you have no clue what's going on, which is usually what I'm like half of the time. So just putting it down on paper helps so much. I've started doing that now just with planning and stuff, and it helps so much to get it down and you can see, like physically see what it is that you're looking for or what you're doing. So for me, that has been a great help, and I wish I would have done that for the matching process as well. Number 2, this time you're gonna write down questions that you have for the host family. So these questions you will ask them either during emails or messages that you send to each other, or when you have the FaceTime or Skype interviews. To have questions written down, it is, like I mentioned in number 1, that it's much easier to keep everything organized. Because if you look very unorganized when you're talking to the families, it's gonna be like, oh, this person doesn't really know what they're doing. So if you have questions that you are asking written down on a paper or phone or something, so that you have it down, that you can ask them and you can check off when you've asked them, and it's a really good way to see, like go through. But one thing that I've heard from host families, that try not to ask too many questions about things that are already in the profile, because they already put it in the profile. If you're still wondering about some things and you want them to elaborate, kind of further explain something, then of course you should ask it. But try to ask things that maybe you think of that they didn't mention in their profile. I have 6 different questions that maybe could help you, that you could ask them. It could be good to know, so let's do it. Number 1 is ask what the families got for hobbies. Like, what do they like to do when they're not working? What do they like to do together as a family? Because some families like to go out, they like to be very active, while other families maybe likes to stay at home and just be together and watch a movie. Number 2 of the questions are, what are the kids like and what do they like to do? Like, what are their favorite food? What do they like to play with? And things like that, that is about the kids, because those are the ones that you're gonna spend the most time with. So ask about them, what is it that they like to do, so that you have an idea of kind of what they're like. And it would be really good if they're old enough, then like can sort of talk and not just a baby, but that you will talk to them as well, and you can ask them questions like, hey, what's your favorite color? What do you like to eat? What do you like to play? What's your favorite game? Something like that. Something that is simple, especially if they're younger, so that they will be able to talk to you. Number 3, what are the expectations that the host family has on their future au pair? What is it they're expecting from you as their au pair? That could be very good to know, because then you're on the same page as the host family and you know what they're expecting from you. Because if you don't know, you're gonna be like on 2 different earths, and that's not gonna work because you're living in the same house. So make it into one and ask them what their expectations are on you. Number 4, does the host family want you to be a part of a family or not? If you're like me, I'm very family orientated, and I really wanted a family that would take me in as part of their family, which I've been so lucky with. Both my host families have been very open and brought me in like their own daughter. So this has been something that I really wanted, and I'm so thankful that I found that. But I was making sure when I was talking to them that they wanted the same thing, because if they wanted an au pair who didn't spend so much time at home, then I don't think that would have worked out as well for me. So that's why I wanted to make sure I asked that before. The next one is, what is the area that they live in like? Do they have a lot of things to do? Is there a beach? Is there a city? Is there a mall? Whatever things that you like to do, you could ask them what there is to do, because that could be very good and helpful if that's the family you're going to, that you know what there is to do. Number 6, are there any other au pairs living in that area, or any maybe Americans that are around your age? Kind of goes together with number 5. So ask about the area and if there's any people that you could hang out with, if there's a big au pair community, and yeah. Okay, next big question or tip. Number 3, don't reject families right away just because you think they are a little bit off your radar. Sometimes it's better to just give them a chance and talk to them, and you might be very surprised with what you find. It might be like, oh, I didn't realize this from their profile, but then when you ask them about it or talk to them, you see that this could be a better match than I initially thought. Initially. Oh, there we go.
I didn't catch that.
Initially thought. There we go. So yeah, don't reject people in your life unless they're really bad. But back on track. Don't reject them at first sight. Give them a chance, talk to them so that you can actually learn for yourself if they would be a good match or not. Number 4, this one is kind of long, so bear with me. It's good for you to know though. Sometimes it takes a little bit longer for au pairs to get requests. I've had au pairs asking me, why am I not getting any requests from families? Is there something wrong with me? Is there something wrong with my profile? And most of the time, what I've heard, it's nothing wrong with you. It's just that, like with vacations and tourists, there's some seasons that are really popular for tourists to come and go to the beach, while other times where it's not as warm, it's cold, then tourists are not going to show up because they want to go to the warm places. And if there's no warmth or no heat or no sun, they're not going to show up. The same thing with host families and the matching process. Host families are looking for au pairs in different times of the year. Usually there's families looking throughout the year, but sometimes there's more families looking for au pairs during the summer months. So June through August, September is very popular because that's when the families, the parents are still working, but the kids are out of school. They need someone to take care of the kids, so they might be looking for an au pair for that time. Low seasons may be during the holidays, like Thanksgiving, Christmas, New Year's, and that is through November through December. So it might not be anything wrong with you, so don't feel discouraged if you're not getting so many requests at once. It might not be anything wrong with you, it might just be bad timing. So don't be discouraged about not having so many requests. And honestly, I didn't have that many requests with my second host family because I, as usual, was very early. So by the time I was looking for the summer, this was in like December, November, there was not any families looking for the summer. So if I had waited maybe 2 months, there would have been more families. But I found this family early because they were looking early as well. So check with what time am I actually in the matching process compared to when am I leaving. So it could be very different depending on what time of the year it is and so on. So don't be discouraged, people. You can do it. You're awesome. And the last one is gonna sound very cliche, but it's very true. You gotta be yourself. Imagine you be like, it's catfishing if you don't. If you're pretending to be someone else and then a family and you are matching and then you come there and they're like, this is not who we're talking to. You wanna be able to be yourself with the family that you're gonna spend a year with, or maybe even 2. So make sure that you are yourself, you show who you actually are, because that's gonna take you the furthest. And one more thing that my other host mom told me from my other family, that it's much easier to talk to future au pairs that are not crazy nervous. I was really nervous, but I tried tucking it in and using that as a smile instead. So I was really nervous, but I didn't want it to show. And that apparently helped a lot, because that made it easier for them to talk to me and see that I wasn't all like, hi, I'm Felicia, nice to meet you. So it's so much better to just try and talk about. I know it's so hard. If you're nervous, you're like, phew. But try as hard as you can to like not show it. Try to hide it a little bit, but don't hide who you actually are. Hide your nervousness, not yourself. I think that was pretty much all of my tips, my 5 tips for the matching process. This might have been a long video, I don't know, but I hope it helped you. And if it did, give it a thumbs up and hit the subscribe button if you want. And I'll see you in the next video. If you have anything you want me to talk about, let me know. I'm more than happy to do it if there's anything that you want me to talk about. So, on no further ado, I hope you have a great week, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye. Felicia out.